welcome to graduation, and if I can get you to bow your heads, we will invite the Lord to be with us. Dear Father, we know that you are just as excited as we are for the class of 2013 on this, their graduation day. Thank you for being here and watching this celebration with us. Thank you for all the parents, grandparents, brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, cousins, and friends who have come from many different places to be here today. And thank you for this wonderful class of 2013. They have the potential to change this world in a positive way. Be with them and bless them as they leave Pacific Union College and go out into the world. I know that I speak for the faculty, staff, and administration when I say that we are privileged to have been part of their lives here at Pacific Union College. We've watched them grow and mature and become the people they are today. Continue to be with them as you have in the past, and now as they embark on this next phase of their lives, be especially close to them. Show them the way you would have them go, and just maybe they will be the generation who will finish the work and watch you come back for the second time. So once again, at the beginning of this celebration, thank you for being here and enjoying it with us. I pray in your name, amen. You may be seated, and remember not to throw tortillas at the platform. Thank you.
Good morning. It is my great privilege to welcome you to this majestic canopy on this glorious day at this glorious place, Pacific Union College, the college on the hill. Truly, we have been experiencing, graduates, a mountaintop experience during these past 2 days, characterized by celebration, achievement, and yes, great gratitude. And as we celebrate this culminating event, commencement, for our class of 2013, a class that will always hold a very special place in my heart because we were freshmen together. We know that this will be an exhilarating yet emotional day as our graduates say goodbye to their beloved faculty, friends, and perhaps even family members, but also as they commence their grand and exciting journey into a brave new world of endless and wondrous possibilities. Graduates, these days at PUC have been very special days that will sparkle in your memories for decades to come. Just ask the many PUC alumni sprinkled throughout the audience today. In fact, who among us can say that PUC has not changed our lives for the better? Who among us has not been inspired, enlivened, and even transformed by the renewing of our minds amid the intentional integration of faith and learning, head and heart, which takes place on this beautiful and sacred campus? Today, graduates, you join a very select group of Americans, just a little over 30%, who have worked hard, who have overcome obstacles, and who have survived several arduous years of study, and who have earned, you have earned a college degree, and who therefore embody that combination of intelligence, integrity, and innovation which the college degree represents. After all, we know that college is more than just a financial decision. In truth, it changes an individual's life in ways that simply cannot be quantified. So I congratulate you on behalf of our faculty, staff, administration, and our board of trustees on taking this bold and impressive step, which in many ways is the first step into a series of myriad opportunities. Additionally, this morning, I am delighted to be joined on the platform by members of the presidential party, Please rise as I recognize you. Mr. Larry Provancha, Vice Chairman of PUC's Board of Trustees. Dr. Nancy LaCourte, Vice President for Academic Administration and Academic Dean. Dr. Dave C. Lawrence, Vice President for Financial Administration and CFO. Dr. John Collins, Vice President for Asset Management. Dr. Lisa Bissell-Paulson, Vice President for Student Services and Dean of Students. And Mrs. Jennifer Tyner, Vice President for Enrollment Management and Public Relations. These are the individuals who provide governance and oversight and leadership for this illustrious institution of higher learning. And we thank them for their dedicated and earnest work on the college's behalf. Thank you. You may now be seated. It is also an honor to welcome all of the wonderful family and friends who have supported our graduates, our dreamers. Our graduates are dreamers in their quests to achieve their heartfelt hopes and their daring dreams. And to all of our fathers in the audience, what better gift could you have received on Father's Day than to see your loved ones, wives, sisters, children, receiving their hard-earned and highly prized college degrees. So we thank you for all that you've done and for all that you continue to do for Pacific Union College and these precious young people whom you have entrusted to us for 4 or more years. So today, this morning, enjoy the pomp and circumstance, along with the overwhelming sense of achievement and great joy. And again, I say, on behalf of PUC, welcome.
Our scripture reading for today is from Philippians chapter 2, verses 1 through 11. Therefore, if you have any encouragement from being united with Christ, if any comfort from his love, if any common sharing of the Spirit, if any tenderness and compassion, then make my joy complete by being like-minded, having the same love, being one in spirit and of one mind. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interests of the others. In your relationship with one another, have the same mindset as Christ Jesus, who, being in very nature God, did not consider equality with God something to be used to his own advantage. Rather, he made himself nothing by taking the very nature of a servant, being made in human likeness, and being found in appearance as a man. He humbled himself by becoming obedient to death, even death on a cross. Therefore, God exalted him to the highest place and gave him the name that is above every name, that is the name of Jesus, and at his name every knee should bow in heaven and on earth and under the earth, and every tongue acknowledge that Jesus Christ is Lord, to the glory of God the Father.
Amen.
As our class gift, the class of 2013 is pleased to provide funding for an outdoor wood-burning fire pit to be constructed in the campus mall. We anticipate that this gift will provide future PUC students with many opportunities for warmth, reflection, recreation, and fellowship, and that it will add value to the already distinctive, remarkable PUC landscape.
There's a phrase I have heard over and over throughout the past few years that I have come to despise. This piece of advice comes from popular culture, well-meaning church members, concerned friends, and even a random stranger who I sat next to on a plane. You see, I am so tired of people telling me that college years are the best years of my life. If I had held to this ideology, today would basically be the worst day ever. I don't know about you or about the rest of the 320 candidates sitting in front of me, but I know that I am rather enjoying this moment, even though it is a bit surreal. Today is a day of congratulations, of achievement, of celebration, and yet I can honestly say that a small part of me thinks I should already have my class schedule lined up for next fall. However, the rest of me is exhausted, relieved, and excited. I know this feeling of freedom felt in this moment will come to an end soon, if not in the next 6 months when I receive my first statement requesting payment on my student loans. But let's not try to think about that right now. Let's simply enjoy this moment. Don't you think this is how we should view each and every day? I don't want to have a stage of my life pass me by, holding to the idea that those few moments were the best ones of my life. We should remember the experience that we had here on this holy hill, on, yes, the most beautiful campus in the nation. Everyone seated in front of me has a different story, a different college experience. Some have been here for 4 years, some for 5 or 6. A few of us have transferred from school to school. Others have returned in search of a different career path. Through all this diversity, we have one thing in common. We are all a part of the class of 2013 of Pacific Union College. Congratulations, we did it. However, graduation is a time that can be bittersweet. We are leaving this beautiful place and the friendships we made, but instead of being sad, try to think of it in this way. This is the best time in history to graduate. Twitter will still let you know what your friend is thinking. Foursquare will give you their exact location, and Instagram will provide you with a neatly cropped and tinted version of the plate of food they are about to devour. Add in Facebook, Snapchat, Vine, Skype, and Words with Friends, and you will know more about your classmates about their lives than you do right now. This being said, today does mark a monumental change, the end of our college careers and our time here at PUC. So there are a few things I want to say before we are officially welcomed into the distinguished alumni of Pacific Union College. First, to all the parents, families, and friends here today, thank you for your love and support. We couldn't have made it here without you. To the faculty, staff, and administration, thank you for your challenges, your instruction, and your mentorship that have brought us up to be critical thinkers, responsible citizens, and strong believers. And finally, to the graduating class of 2013, I challenge you to step forward in courage into the unknown, to strive to do good, and never to give up on your faith or our church.
Thank you so much, Ms. Holly Maycumber, Class of 2013 Senior Class President again. Thanks to all of our wonderful officers who've served us this year. We really appreciate your leadership. And now to our commencement speech. Dr. Bill Knott is the editor and executive publisher of the Adventist Review and Adventist World magazines, the oldest and most widely distributed journals of the global 17 million member Seventh-day Adventist Church. Before joining the Adventist Review staff in 1997 as an associate editor, he served as a pastor in New England, Michigan, New York, and Washington State. Furthermore, graduates, he himself is a product of Adventist education, being a graduate of Atlantic Union College, as well as the Seventh-day Adventist Theological Seminary at Andrews University, where he earned his Master of Divinity degree. In 2006, he completed a PhD in American Religious History at George Washington University, a fit area of academic expertise for his current position as a major thought leader in the 21st century Adventist Church. Dr. Knott has authored hundreds of articles for church periodicals during his more than 30 years of ministry, and he's a frequent speaker at camp meetings, academic conferences, youth and young adult events, pastors' meetings, and yes, graduations. He is married to Deborah Rashawn Knott, MS, who is a senior systems specialist in human resources at the church's world headquarters in Silver Spring, Maryland. The Knotts have two sons, Evan, a recent religion and communication graduate of Andrews University, who will be entering the seminary there this August, and Brady, a fourth-year student in the six-year physical therapy doctoral program, also at Andrews, so he's a recent parent of a graduate also. We are honored that Dr. Knott has accepted our invitation to share some words of wisdom with our graduates this morning. Please welcome him as he speaks to us on the topic, the cathedral in the distance.
Members of the Board of Trustees, Madam President, oh, that sounds good to say, Madam President, members of the faculty, family members, graduates, thank you for the invitation to be with you. This is a lovely spot, made more lovely by what you have accomplished. One of my favorite speakers used to recount that when he was called upon to give a commencement address, he would frequently offer the members of the audience a choice of which message they would like to hear. First, he would tell them they could choose the message entitled, "The Goose Hangs High," in which they would be told that the prize to be grasped and strained for will only be reached by intense, concentrated effort. The goose, as it were, always hangs just out of reach. And they must struggle and try and work and sweat all of their lives to reach that wondrous reward, whatever it is. Secondly, he offered them, they could choose the talk entitled, "Life is a Crossroads," in which they would hear that the road ahead of them is full of forks and divisions, that daily life is full of momentous choices, and that only filling yourself full of moral stuffing and high ideals and lines from Bartlett's familiar quotations will get you through when you come to the parting of the ways. Well, there's more than a little bit of satire in the titles he's chosen. And the reason that his little device worked so well is that we've all come to expect much the same thing on occasions like this one. We know that those about to graduate will be encouraged to be courageous men and women, to persevere in the struggle of life, to follow that star no matter how hopeless, no matter how far, to fight for the right without question or pause, to be willing to march into hell for a heavenly cause. Well, the last thing I would wish, however, for you in the graduating class of 2013 is that you would have to dismiss the words we say today as empty, frothy platitudes, or worse yet, some last bit of nostalgic advice before you're sent out into the world. This is not a Methodist service, even though this movement owes much to John and Charles Wesley. This is not a Mennonite commencement, even though the ties between the Radical Reformation and this church are long and deep. This is not a graduation for students who have been attending the college of a traditional faith. This is a Seventh-day Adventist college. It's an institution that's organized on a radically different set of presuppositions, and that fact should make a difference in what we say at moments like this. It should also make a difference in what we do. Which I suppose makes it more than a little ironic that I've entitled my remarks today, "The Cathedral in the Distance," and that the man I want to tell you about was an Anglican priest. I'll be the first to admit that it's an unusual image at an Adventist commencement, but bear with me, all will become clear. The cathedral I refer to rises high above the vastness of Salisbury Plain in Western England. It's thought by many people to be the supreme example of English Gothic architecture. At 404 feet, the spire is the tallest in England. It can be seen for miles around, and it reminds everyone silently that Salisbury is home to a bishop's chair. And the man I want to tell you about lived just a mile away from Salisbury Cathedral. A mile away across the marshy meadows along the River Nadder, where every day he could look out across the fields at the cathedral in the distance and imagine what might have been. He was born to a family of earls and knights in 1593. He received the best possible elementary education at London's prestigious Westminster School. He graduated with high honors. By age 14, he counted as a personal friend, one of the most influential bishops in the kingdom. By age 19, he had graduated from Trinity College at Cambridge. He was already acknowledged as one of the best classics students in Latin and Greek that famous university had ever produced. At age 22, he received his Master of Arts from the same school, and he was soon elected public orator of the famed university. By age 31, he was a member of Parliament. Counted among his close friends, the Lord High Chancellor of the realm. He had personally delivered speeches on numerous occasions before the king and other members of the royal court. He had every reason to believe that, like his two predecessors in that post, he would soon be elected Secretary of State for the realm. He would move into an increasingly important role in the government of England. Many of his contemporaries saw that it was equally likely that he would become a bishop because he had also been preparing for the priesthood. He was a charming, graceful aristocrat. He was a gentle, kindly man, already recognized as one of England's most talented poets in an age that also included Shakespeare, Marlowe, and John Donne. He was an expert musician as well. He played the lute with consummate skill, we're told. He sang with others the complex musical form known as the madrigal. Every aspect of his life was consciously superior. So it was that the aristocracy of England was shocked. Shocked when this man of noble breeding and excellent education, this man named George Herbert, he gave up all of this to become the pastor of the smallest and most insignificant parish in the West County. Just 1 mile away across the fields from Salisbury Cathedral. I've stood on the parsonage lawn at Bemerton St. Andrews, and I've looked out through the willows and the alders that still line the riverbank, and I've looked at that cathedral in the distance. 1,000 times George Herbert must have wondered to himself as he looked out over those fields why he wasn't the bishop at that cathedral in the distance. Why was it that God had called him to serve in a chapel that would only seat 60 people, and a chapel that he had to repair out of his own meager salary? 1,000 mornings he must have remembered that by training and by breeding, he might very well have been the bishop at that cathedral in the distance. His biographer records that twice a week, Herbert would walk into town just to hear the all-male chorus sing evensong, just to fill his heart with the music that he once called my heaven on earth. There was no beautiful music in Bemerton St. Andrews. The church was too small for a choir. It was too poor for an organ. Its members couldn't appreciate the exquisite rhetorical skills of the man who had come to be their pastor. And so George Herbert laid aside the finely polished sermons. He laid aside the witty phrases. He laid aside the sophisticated puns that would have tickled the ears of fellow aristocrats at court. And he talked to his members instead about things they understood. Seed time and harvest. Wheat and tares. Lost sheep, prodigal sons. Marriage feasts. Daily miracles. One biographer tells us that George Herbert was so much loved by the common men and women of his parish that when twice a day he went and rang a bell to signal that he was beginning a season of prayer, plowmen in the fields would stop in the furrow just for the joy of mixing their prayer with his. His friends at court, however, reproved him for not using his talent and training, for accepting a poor parish like Bemerton. He was wasting his superior skills, they said, to bring a few dull cottagers to God. He had not managed things wisely, they told him. He had lost himself in a humble way. The parson's life was no career for a talented, cultivated man, they said. There was no money in it. And after all, who would know? Who would even care if a few farmers found their way to heaven? And every day, as he crossed the road between his tiny church and his rundown parsonage, as he strolled along the river at the bottom of his struggling orchard, he must have mused to himself about what was happening at that cathedral in the distance. What theological debates there might have been settled with but a flash of his brilliant tongue. What enhancements to the church's work might have occurred if he occupied the bishop's chair, if someone with his influence and connections in the king's court was silently pulling the strings of power. And then think about his aesthetic self. If every day he could let his world be filled with beautiful music and beautiful architecture and beautiful clothes and beautiful homes. Oh, the many, many temptations of the cathedral in the distance. I have no doubt, graduating seniors, that you must sense where I am heading this morning. You are a talented, focused, well-trained group of men and women. You're graduating from a school that's nationally recognized for the superiority of its faculty, the beauty of its location, and the excellence of its education. Many of you have been blessed with strong, supportive families gathered here with you today. They've nurtured in you a desire for excellence and accomplishment. That's clearly reflected in the professional choices that many of you are making. Many of you also have considerable musical talents or literary skills. Others of you excel in analytical sciences. If the history of your predecessors as graduates is any indication, You will go on to be leaders in your fields, many of you, and future employers will note with some satisfaction that on your resume, you are a graduate of Pacific Union College. The fortunate circumstances of your life, your education, have given you an enviable position with which to go out and make your mark in the world. And I also have no doubt this morning about the ability of every one of you to dream great dreams. The cult of personal success is alive and well and thriving in America today, as everywhere in fashion, in sports, in education, in politics. The message so neatly encapsulated in those old U.S. Army ads still proclaims, be all that you can be. Be all that you can be. You've been affected by all of this. You'd have to have been a hermit for the last 4 years to not be affected by all of this, and that's by no means all bad. One of the blessings of the last 4 years in this country is that having survived a devastating recession, this people is now beginning to recover a forward-looking spirit and a sense of national optimism. The vision of the good life, the vision of the powerful life, the vision of the wealthy life, the life of great accomplishment and significant contribution, it lives in the mind of each one of you, always beckoning, always urging, like that cathedral in the distance. Many commencement speakers would pause right here to give their blessing to all of this. They've told me that they're often afraid that you would otherwise content yourself with too small a dream, or you would follow too dim a star. But I have to tell you, those are not my fears as I look at the class of 2013. The great danger, my friends, is not that you will fail to dream enough. The great danger is that you will fail to do enough, that in the pursuit of a great cathedral in the distance, you will fail to notice the poor, the weary, the downtrodden, the broken-hearted people that God will deliberately put in your path. Yes, I'm talking about service. Yes, I'm talking about sacrifice. Yes, I'm talking about selflessness. For an education achieved at Pacific Union College should end in no other way. This isn't some mere invitation to mediocrity or drabness. It's not a sentimental plea to, just be nice to common people when you meet them. No. It's my firm conviction that you'll have only gained a fraction of what Pacific Union College intended to teach you if you walk out of these doors without a commitment to patient, loving service to the broken people God puts in your path. You may have wowed them in geometry with your grasp of theorems and proofs. But if you leave this place dedicated only to your own angle on everything, you will be poor indeed. You may have delighted your music teachers with the rich, full tone of your voice. But if there is no resonance in your heart with the tuneless, voiceless people of the world who've got nothing to sing about, you will be poor indeed. You may have pleased your English professors, though that's hard. You may have pleased your English professors with your intelligent reading of complex plot structures and sophisticated characterizations, but if you can't read the faces of the kids who cry in Syria and India and San Francisco, you will be poor indeed. This is no time in the history of the world to be sending forth from any Christian educational institution a class that is dedicated only to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. For though the letters BMW will certainly get you into the heavenly kingdom, they have nothing to do with Bavarian motorworks. They have everything to do with bearing more weakness, bringing more water, banishing more woe. That's the letters that will take you forward. You're not graduating from just any school today. You're graduating from a Christian and Seventh-day Adventist school that proclaims its allegiance to a Lord who said every disciple of his will pick up a cross and follow him out into a broken world. And so I urge you today, my friends, don't be too enchanted by the cathedral in the distance. I'm not saying that it's somehow a foolish illusion. No, what it represents in power and prestige and success is real enough as the world counts real. What I am saying is that there is a greater reality for the graduates of a Christian college, a reality that has far more to do with places like Bemerton St. Andrews than it does with soaring cathedrals like the one in Salisbury. All around us are the sights and sounds of real human need and the opportunities to make a significant difference in the name of Christ. Are there somehow no grieving people in your community today? Have the impoverished families of the migrant workers not come north this summer? Have all the adult foster care homes in your community mysteriously disappeared? Does the place where you plan to live already boast a 100% literacy rate? Are there no aged or infirm who need assistance to maintain their dignity and their independence? Are there no children to be tutored? Is there no one among you who lacks bread? Are there none naked in this land? Is no one in prison? Does no one need a cup of cold water? I hold out to you today, my friends, the example of the man who chose that little insignificant church in Bemerton St. Andrews. The poet whose works of spiritual strength and vitality are still read by millions of people all over this world 400 years later. Not one person in 10 million can give you the name of that bishop at the cathedral in the distance. No one cares where he's buried. But every year, thousands of people come to Bemerton St. Andrews to be in that little church, to look at the tablet that only bears the initials G.H. as his epitaph. G.H. Good heart. G.H. God's handyman. G.H. Great human. I could wish nothing finer for the class of 2013 than that you would discover the joy and the fulfillment of doing the work that lies nearest as God brings you in touch with the needs of this world. Bend your considerable powers of intellect into plotting the end of poverty. Use your literary skills to write passionately about the needs of a hungry world. Harness your impressive scientific minds to develop new crops, new irrigation systems. Cultivate the contacts you have to move among the wealthy and the powerful on behalf of those who will never be wealthy or powerful. Sing about injustice and oppression. Move hearts everywhere as you pray. You pray for the end of tyranny and war. Your task is not going to end in your lifetime unless the Lord comes first. No, it won't end until God's kingdom comes. It won't end until that day when He says to you what we say to you today. Well done. Well done. Well done.
Good morning. Before I present the class of 2013, I want to introduce our new Educator of the Year, chosen this spring by our student body, resident artist in music, Asher Raboy. Stand here, that's right. Maestro Raboy is celebrated for his commitment to students and his engaging style both on the podium and in the classroom. Asher has conducted our symphonic wind ensemble, taught honors, music history, theory, and composition, and generally inspired students to think both critically and creatively here at PUC for 5 years. He also, when necessary, wears funny hats. It is with great affection that we present this award to our very own Maestro Asher Raboy. We also honor one new Professor Emeritus this year, Dr. Bruce Ivy. Dr. Ivy is being honored today as Professor Emeritus of Computer Science and Physics. Bruce has taught at Pacific Union College for 21 years. During his time at PUC, Bruce has taught physics, mathematics, astronomy, and computer science. He has also served as chair of the department, as vice chair of Academic Senate twice, and as chair of our curriculum committee, editor of the faculty handbook, and a member of the WASC planning committee. Bruce and his wife Janet look forward to spending the coming years flying, hiking, backpacking, skiing, snowshoeing, gardening, reading, and enjoying music. Today we honor Bruce's long and inspiring career as a dedicated teacher, Professor Emeritus, Dr. Bruce Ivy. This year, we are very pleased to confer 2 new degrees for the first time. Our new associate's degree in health sciences is being awarded to 29 candidates. And our new Bachelor of Fine Art degree is being awarded to 2 candidates. Pacific Union College is proud of its reputation as a fine undergraduate institution. However, we also offer a Master of Education. Today we are conferring 2 such degrees, one in absentia. And at this time, Professor Tom Lee, Chair of the Department of Education, will join me to hood the candidate. Candidate for the degree Master of Education, Catherine Lynn Richmond. Katie's master's project is entitled Improving Social Skills Through the Use of Children's Literature Read-Alouds in the Primary Multigrade Classroom. Let's congratulate the recipient of our highest degree. You get to go that. And now, I am proud to present the 111th graduating class of Pacific Union College. 360 graduates receiving 138 associate's degrees, 237 bachelor's degrees, and 2 master's degrees. As usual, nursing is the largest group among them, with with a total of 137 degrees to be awarded. 9 of you have completed the requirements of the honors program. The gold, white, and blue cords you are wearing represent the integration of sciences, humanities, and the arts. 4 of you are Maxwell Scholars, graduating in our first group of these prestigious scholarship recipients. We are very proud of you. Many of you have already been accepted to respected institutions to continue your studies in business, psychology, medicine, law, English, history, dentistry, music, art, religion, and many other fields. We are proud of each one of you and look forward to hearing of your achievements in the future. Congratulations to you all. Will the candidates please stand? President Knight, it is with pleasure and confidence that I, on behalf of the faculty, present these candidates of the class of 2013 to you for the conferral of their degrees.
Class of 2013. This is it. This is the moment. Upon the recommendation of the faculty of Pacific Union College, and with the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Pacific Union College and the state of California, I now confer upon these candidates who have successfully completed requirements for graduation their respective diplomas and degrees. Congratulations, class of 2013.
You may be seated. Presenting the senior class officers. Graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Social Studies and an Associate of Science in Photography, Senior Class President Holly Marie Maycumber. Graduating with a Bachelor of Business Administration with an emphasis in accounting, cum laude, Executive Vice President Daniel Philippe Monnier. Graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Psychology, Social Vice President Carolina Meza. Graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration and minors in Biology and Chemistry, cum laude, Secretary Ocean Riza Baroy. Graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, Treasurer Oscar Omar Villa. Graduating with a Bachelor of Arts in Theology, Chaplain Matthew Stephen Lopez Frias. Graduating with a Bachelor of Business Administration with an emphasis in accounting, Parliamentarian Eric James Logan. Graduating with a Bachelor of Arts in Spanish and an Associate of Science in Film and Theater Studies, Sergeant at Arms, Paige Hoffman Nielsen. Graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Graphic Design with an emphasis in design, historian Crystal Aldred. Candidates for the degree Associate of Science: Vincent Neil Failano Agu. Jonathan Aguilar. Julian Franklin August. Graduating magna cum laude, Nancy Ann Vargas. Jonathan Philip Bastian. Timothy Buell. Ariel Susanna Cook. Graduating cum laude, Roxana Crespo. Stephanie De Casas. Selena Diaz. Joel Mardy Carator Duat. Saul Daniel Escobar. Graduating cum laude, Venita Janine Espinoza. Graduating cum laude, Kathleen Frederick. Cheyenne Elizabeth Hagelgantz. Ferenstein H. Hudegal. Trevor Jones. Deborah Bennett Maldonado. Maria Del Rocio Maldonado. Jean-Claude Velarde Monzano. Ryan Matthew McCauley. Catherine McDonald. April Gorola Mendoza. Alicia Joy Neeb. Marla N. Polk. Elizabeth Madrid Ramirez. Daniel L. Rendon. Cynthia Maria Rivas. Colin Beecher Smith. Graduating cum laude, Sienna Ariel Stewart. Graduating cum laude, Jewel Marie Sumaraga. Graduating with an Associate of Science in both Emergency Services and Health Sciences, Christopher Vaughn. Stephanie J. Vialta. Tanya Yepes. Candidates for the degree Associate of Science in Nursing. Corporal, United States Marine Corps, Angela J. Alfred Whiting. Renee Allen. Graduating cum laude, Sarah Ambrosini. Senior Airman, United States Air Force, Christina Cooper Anderson. Angela A. Anjejo. Austin James Arnold. Graduating cum laude, Sarah Nicole Arrogante. Pamela June Blankenship. Honeylynn Zafra Bauner. Allison B. Buckley. Graduating cum laude, Ben Daniel Badua Cachapero. Caitlin Marie Camerata. Christine Chen. Graduating cum laude, Catherine Jeanette Danford. Denise Monzella de la Montaña. Meryl Joy Di Fiesta. Vincent Gibbon Reyes Dianella. Jennifer Elise Dimmick. Graduating cum laude, Dragan Georgievich. Megan Duncan. Kelvin Duong. Christina Eddy. Eva Crystal H. Esquivel. Beth Ann Fallon Grant. Graduating with an Associate of Science in Nursing and a minor in French, Emily B. Fillmore. Graduating cum laude, Justine Ann Soraben Galicinau. Trisha Nicole Galloway. Marilyn Faye Garcia. Graduating with an Associate of Science in Nursing, a Bachelor of Arts in Spanish, and a ukulele, Jeffrey George. Graduating cum laude, Loretta Gildersleeve. Graduating cum laude, Amber Michelle Gott. Lauren Janelle Grado. Victor Henriquez III. Mariana Hernandez. Sarah Ann Hoig. William Hudson. Graduating cum laude, Crystal Sujung Kim. Spencer Lake. Madeline Y. Ledesma. Eleanor Lucas. Jamie Lynn Ludden. Sarayi Machuca. Denise Maldonado. Leslie Josephine Malagaya. Graduating with an Associate of Science in Nursing and a Bachelor of Arts in Spanish, Tyler J. McCullough. Kirsten Faye Memmer. Stephanie Lynn Miller. Theodore Castillo Morales. Jaika Maren Watlo Naval. Nolan R. Negretti. Tu Ha Wen. Raymond Rakuya Nolasco. Vanessa Orozco. Joshua D. Pei. Tiffany Yvette Paul. Adolfo Bautista Portades III. Graduating with an Associate of Science in both nursing and photography, Rachel Beth Racker. Noel T. Reyes. Katrina Valdez Rivero. Latrice Aisha Robinson. Jamie Lynn Salmina. Nicole Catherine Salmina. Latoya Celine Sr. Mary D. Simons. Erin Renee Slack. Crystal Rose Spurlock. Elaine Frances Taylor. Sephirina D. Tello. Erica Mai Tran. Rochelle Margaret Walsh. Kelsey Weathers. Karen Dominique Isabel Weinstock. Gregory Claude Shigeru Yamada. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Arts. Graduating with a Bachelor of Arts in English with an emphasis in teaching English to speakers of other languages and a minor in Spanish, Marisa Leticia Aguayo. Graduating with a Bachelor of Arts in both intercultural communication with an emphasis in Spanish and Spanish, cum laude with honors, Brittany May Alexander. Graduating with a Bachelor of Arts in both Communication and Theology, summa cum laude, with honors, Maxwell Scholar, Student Association President, Samantha Nicole Angeles. David Scott Baker. Graduating with a Bachelor of Arts in both English with an emphasis in British and American literature and History with an emphasis in American history, summa cum laude with honors, Caitlin Heather Elizabeth Bylard. Javier Casas. Tawna Castro Harris. Graduating with a Bachelor of Arts in both Intercultural Communication with an emphasis in Spanish and Spanish, cum laude, Shanna Lynette Crumley. Tora Tarin Sarisha Giles. Graduating with a Bachelor of Arts in Communication and a minor in Spanish, Walter Douglas Hamlin. Sharani Judith Johnson. Staff Sergeant, United States Army, Clifford G. Keith III. Graduating summa cum laude, Jeremy Derek Lamb. Graduating magna cum laude with honors, Alexander Daniel Larson. Dick A. Montañez. Grace Odico Otieno. Edwin Perla. Emily Pryor. Graduating with an Associate of Science in Health Sciences and a Bachelor of Arts in Biology, Jose Rosales Ramirez. Graduating with a Bachelor of Arts in both Communication and English with an emphasis in British and American literature, magna cum laude with honors, Christiana Louise Robbins. Gresford Alexander Thomas. Graduating with a Bachelor of Arts in both Intercultural Communication with an emphasis in Spanish and Spanish, cum laude, Maxwell Scholar, Colleen Ann Oechi. Graduating magna cum laude, Allison Sutini Uniat. Graduating cum laude, Diane Whitley. Jason Whitley. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Business Administration. Amgad Barsoum. William V. Bell. Graduating magna cum laude, Mina Nazmi Gayed Botros. Graduating magna cum laude, John Alexander Butler. Rami Fahmi. Justin D. Feldman. Waji B. Joda. Petty Officer, 3rd Class, United States Navy, Spencer P. Greenback. Ryan Lawson Gullett. Mark Ryan Miracle. Raul Gaston Montero Rubin de Celis IV. Jill Alexandra Caroline Richards. Isaac Shanuda. Graduating with an Associate of Science in Emergency Services and a Bachelor of Business Administration with an emphasis in management, Nicholas Tryon. Daniel Vo. Lauren Michelle Woolley. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Fine Art, Katie Dayrin Aguilar. Richard Wells Hawkins. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Music, Arthur Henry Borges. Graduating cum laude, Oriel Marisa Helmer. Graduating cum laude, Timothy Michael Rasmussen. Graduating cum laude, Brennan Douglas Stokes. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science. Graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Exercise Science and a minor in Business Administration, Logan Zachary Adams. Graduating magna cum laude, Jason On. Gabriellen Alvaro. Franco Andrade. Graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Communication with an emphasis in journalism and a minor in Business Administration, cum laude, Lauren Beth Armstrong. Graduating magna cum laude, Emily Asawapisakun. Jason H. Bong. Blake William Bainham. Graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Chemistry with an emphasis in biochemistry and a minor in religion, summa cum laude, Daniel David Diaz Batat. Herman Bati. Kylie Marin Brock. Brandon E. Buell. Roy Elias Calderon Tuesta. Randy Abner Castañasa. Graduating summa cum laude, Christian Nicholas Junloon Chan. Graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Environmental Studies and a minor in Psychology, summa cum laude, Jose Trinidad Chavez. Graduating cum laude, Hannah Priya Chalaya. Graduating magna cum laude, Robert Michael Chi. Graduating magna cum laude, Alice Hyunjin Chun. Graduating cum laude, Joshua Chung. Theodore Angelo Combis II. Jonathan Nathaniel Cook. Rosa Inez Cuevas. Graduating magna cum laude, Brittany May DePause. Nicole Nike Duario. Graduating magna cum laude, Yulia Diamond. Hannah Sage Etheridge. Alexandra Nicole Phillips. Graduating cum laude, Stephen David Masuda Frey. Graduating cum laude, Melissa April Gage. Sandra Ray Gates. Samantha Ashley Green. Graduating summa cum laude with honors, Danielle Elizabeth Haygood. Brandon Christopher Hahn. Claire Marie Hansen. Halston Cecily Hart. Laura Alice Houston. Graduating magna cum laude with honors, Haruka Ellen Ito. Rafael Brannon Bruce Kabigting Jimenez. Tyler Scott Jones. Jeffrey Stephen Kegley. Graduating magna cum laude, Charlie Junhan Kim. Jonathan Hyo-jin Kim. Graduating summa cum laude, Richard Dae-jin Kim. Graduating cum laude, Jeffrey Jerome Kipp. Graduating cum laude, Julie Marie Knudsen. Graduating cum laude, Miranda H. Kaur. Graduating cum laude, Beverly Angeline Lau. Graduating magna cum laude, Crystal Ellen Lau. Graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration and a minor in Film and Television Production, Avery Gwynn Lay. Debbie D. Lee. Graduating magna cum laude, Jeffrey Lee. Anel Brenda Lomelli. William Randall Lutz. Angelo Bernardo Maniego. Joanne D. Morias. Erin Taylor Collette McLean. Graduating cum laude, Jonathan Kyung-suk Min. Nicholas Kyung-jun Min. Darcy Uilani Moninka. Graduating with an Associate of Science in Music and a Bachelor of Science in Chemistry with an emphasis in biochemistry, cum laude, Christina Michelle Moore. Graduating cum laude, Stephen Daniel Moreno. Graduating magna cum laude with honors, Namiko Amanda Nagayama. Graduating magna cum laude, Christiane Reyes Ocampo. Graduating cum laude, Christopher Grant Ordelhide. Yeah. Graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Early Childhood Education and a minor in Business Administration, Priscilla Lee Palinka. Rick Palenka. Antonio Park. Myung Ki Park. Graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Psychology and a minor in Biology, summa cum laude, Maxwell Scholar, Matthew Duke Phelps. Shayla Michelle Phillips. Lauredine Pierre. Catherine Ann Pope. Michael A. Raya. Chloe Isabel Robles Ivano. Shaylin Leilani Romano. Graduating cum laude, Kelly Jacqueline Ross. Maya Raquel Rutledge. Graduating cum laude, Duke Nathaniel Sagapolutele. Daniel Sepulveda. Young Shin. Ashley Danielle Smith. Graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Photography and a minor in Film and Television Production, Neil Philip Soyland. Graduating cum laude, Tanner Roland Song. Graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Public Relations and Journalism and a minor in Religion, cum laude, Benjamin Allen Spiegel. A flower tortilla. Graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science and a minor in Mathematics, Solomon T. Staggs. Graduating with an Associate of Science in Health Sciences and a Bachelor of Science in Exercise Science, Isaac Hyung-Chong Sung. Graduating cum laude, Kevin Tagliarini. Graduating cum laude with honors, John Bryle Chong Tan. Darlene Teddy. Devin S. Tinney. Graduating magna cum laude, Brandon Tressenreiter. Sarah Jean Montez Velez. Christopher Robin Ornopia Walters. Graduating cum laude, Amy Christine Webster. Graduating cum laude, Melissa Alice Young. Graduating magna cum laude, Maxwell Scholar, Dana B. Yoon. Robert Perry Zentner III. Graduating magna cum laude, Guillaume Bishu Zode. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Catherine R. Agnesi. Krista Noel Ballou. Graduating cum laude, Jennifer Lynn Bowman. Edith Boyd. Graduating cum laude, Jeanette Cockrum. Anne Kathleen Cosentine. Graduating cum laude, Rachel Elizabeth Cottarello. Graduating cum laude, Kristen Michelle Kreshru. Krisha Dalmacio. Michael Sidney D'Apollonia. Juana Andrea Irvin. Brittany Ann Lauren Foldberry. Graduating cum laude, Kristen Lee Farr. Technical Sergeant, United States Air Force, Sarah Marie Harris. Angelica Kranska Roque Hernandez. Carly Keith. Esmeralda G. Cosmerl. Give that paper to me. Did you take the picture? Thank you. Jonathan Chol Lee. Graduating cum laude, Ernest Lee. Gideon M. Makubaya. Nicole Marie Mariani. Anna Christina Molini. Graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Nursing and a minor in Business Administration, Stephen M. A. Obar. Staff Sergeant, United States Air Force, Magali Palayo. Jeffrey Polambarit. Berenice Robledo. Nabil Salah. Amanda Laurie Salisbury. Candace Morgan Sears. Staff Sergeant, United States Air Force, Don Neil Sim.
I love you, Callie!
Jasmine Blay Solano. Maria Michaela Tantoko. Anakani Trujillo. Trisha Karina Tamar Vasquez. Vashti C. Webster. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Social Work, Crystal LeRae Campbell. Emmanuel David Londa Chu. John Elmer Condi. Molly Aksa Moffett. Stephanie San Augustine. Katrina M. Whiteside. The next set of degrees goes to a very special group of students, the adults of our degree completion program. These men and women have successfully balanced the demands of home, family, work, and study to complete bachelor's degrees. They and their families deserve extra recognition this morning for this achievement. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science in Early Childhood Education, Catherine Ann Powell. Candidate for the degree Bachelor of Science in Management, Jill Kristen Cotter. Romualda Lopez.
Pacific Union College class of 2013. On behalf of the PUC Alumni Department, I want to congratulate you on this monumental milestone. You are college graduates. And today, it is my privilege to officially welcome you as members of the Pacific Union College Alumni Association. So please pull out your checkbooks, credit cards, and cash. Now I want to let you know that our department exists to serve you. We want to keep you connected with your classmates, with your professors, and with your beloved Pacific Union College. We want you to know that wherever you go in life, you will always be a part of this incredible PUC family. And as family, know that we are extremely proud of you. And most importantly, know that we are here and always will be here for you. This morning, if anyone in the audience is a Pacific Union College graduate or attendee or an alumnus, I'd like you to please stand if possible at this moment. All right. To those of you who attended PUC, welcome home, and thank you for being part of our PUC family. PUC class of 2013, today as you become a PUC alumnus, you join a network of over 25,000 alumni who have carried the pioneer spirit to every corner of the world, who have excelled in every career and found success in every walk of life. But I want you to know that in our diversity, we are united in one common goal: to proclaim and share the love of Jesus Christ. This is our mission, and this is what we're all about. The road you travel may not always be easy, and at times the challenges you face may seem unbearable and insurmountable. But always remember that wherever you go and whatever you face, God is there for you, and so are we. So class of 2013, on behalf of the 25,000 of us across the world, welcome to the PUC Alumni Association.
Will everyone please stand? After the benediction, we ask that the congregation please be seated while the graduates, faculty, and platform party exit. Thank you. Shall we pray? Father, we thank you for Pacific Union College, its administrators, faculty, staff, and especially now the graduating class of 2013. As they leave this college, may they always be mindful that neither death nor life, nor angels, nor principalities, nor powers, nor things present, nor things to come, nor height, nor depth, nor any other created thing shall be able to separate them from your love, which is in Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.